Hello, everyone. Welcome to Secrets of Saltmarsh. This is a Patreon Greyhawk campaign featuring all of these very lovely people here on the screen. They are our Patreons. And speaking of Patreons, shout out to all of our Patreons. Without their support, all of the 1-shots, 2-shots, 3-shots, marathons, everything that we do on this channel would not be possible. So thank you very, very much for your continued support. And please check out our Patreon for more information. You can use ! Patreon at any time in chat for more information. We also have a YouTube. All of our previous episodes of Secrets of Saltmarsh and all of our other campaigns are over there. Stella Luna TV on YouTube. You can also interact with this game. There are a few ways you can do so. You can redeem channel points for free to grant a blessing or a reroll advantage die to the player of your choice. Or if you'd like to add an element of fate to the narrative, every $10 guarantees a draw from the deck of many things to the player of your choice. All right, let's jump into it. Please remind me of who you are, where we can find you, and who you're playing today. And we'll start with Zombie this time.
I'm prepared for being first. Hello. Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm Zombie. I am Z. Or your names like to call me. I am the lore keeper and Captain Z of the good ship Cliff. I probably do too many clips. That's up to your own discretion. Today I play Finn Coulson, who's a range researcher. Been a minute since I've been Finn, so this will be really, really fun. Finn found some stuff in a I forgot where we were now on where the three of us were, but we found some neat stuff, like maps and all kinds of other stuff. So I think some gold. And we're gonna start meeting in the tavern or some kind of tavern because Finn is hungry and hurt. But you can that's for that thing. For me, the little link I have there is a Twitter. You can follow it at ZombieFighter89 if you wish. If you go there, there's a pinned tweet. In that pinned tweet, there is a Google Doc sheet link. For those who do not know, I am a freelance editor by trade. I'm trying to make that a full-time gig, but right now it is just a sort of passion project / I can get a gig every once in a while and I get really happy. You can see all the different works that I've done, fan compilations, highlights I've done, edits I've done, clips I've done for Stella Luna, Bad House RPG, Transplanter RPG. As you probably have seen today, if you followed me on the Twitter or saw me promote it throughout the various Discords, I do promo videos for each one of the shows here on Patreon because I'm lucky enough to be part of basically all of them. So as my little extra gift, I like to do these little promo videos. Plus, hopefully someone will like them and they'll want me to do promo videos for their games too because, TTRPGs are really, really fun. And I think that's it because I'm rambling.
Thank you so much. Yes, please check out ZombieFighter89 on all their social media. Thank you. We'll hop on over to Endicarus.
Hi there, I'm John. I'm also known as Endicarus on the internet. You can find me by that name on most social media, including my itch.io page that Stella has linked. You can find a whole bunch of games that I made there and some stories and stuff if you're interested. I play Paul of Ammonfort in this game. He is a former street waif who's now an adventurer. He's a warlock with the patron of a hero god, Heward from Greyhawk. And as such, he is non-violent and tries to do everything in a way that will help his party without harming other people.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We'll pop on over to Tim.
Helps if I unmute. Hi, I'm GodfatherWraith _ESG, but you can just call me GodfatherWraith, Tim, or pretty much anything you want except late for dinner.
God Daddy.
God Daddy has already been approved, yes. So, anyways, I play Garen. He is former scout for the Catachan Royal Army, retired, has become an adventurer, and is just a nondescript rogue who's really good at making things dead.
Yeah, pretty succinct. Check mark. Thank you very much. We'll pop on over to GeekDice.
Hey, good evening. I'm GeekDice. You can find me over there on X. I am playing
KayBee, or Kissimmee Brightbloom. He is a Finadiri, which you might better know as a house brownie, a housekeeper, and tender of all things that go on in the house in the night when people are sleeping. Retired from that as an old man, he decided to investigate that whole thing called adventuring. He set out into the greater world. He spent a lot of time with the dwarves and learning how to craft and how to cook. And then he met up with this group, true adventurers, true heroes, and has been quite a journey for him. As a wizard, as an artificer, and now as a fighter, he's been emboldened by the heroic heart of these great souls that he travels with. And now he's getting a little bit cocky.
Oh man, I'm really interested to see what happens to KayBee after this episode. This is going to be very interesting. And then we've got, last but not least, Emma Panada.
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me, you can't really find me, really. I'm not using Twitter or things anymore, really, but I am creating a TTRPG system called All the Witches, and you can find information about that at allthewitches_ on Twitter, or if you want the more up-to-date kind of updates and things, you can check out the Kickstarter page. I've been getting a lot of work done on that thanks to Stella. They have been body doubling with me during the week, and it's really helping me out a lot. So I've got big goals for me to finish some major things by the end of the month and to get some exciting stuff out to everybody. But that's me. I play Arilyn Ruvullath. She is a cleric / warlock who has become the captain of the Sea Lily and the de facto leader of this crew. And just a lot of wild stuff has happened throughout the campaign, and now here we are on a Sunday.
Yes, here we are on a Sunday. As a recap of what happened last time, we essentially made our way back into Uskarn. We took a rowboat into the dock area, and we found that another ship was making landing here at the same time. Misery, you came to learn, is captained by Captain Christie, who is one of the Sea Princes that rules here in the Hold of the Sea Princes. It was there that you came face to face with the corrupt bailiff, the one who essentially had tasked Finn with a delivery that was definitely not carried out and was essentially trying to eke out his own sense of corrupted justice there. He didn't do very well. In fact, he got his ass beat, he got killed, and after, we ransacked his office.
Yeah. Instead, justice got served to him, and to the victor go the spoils.
Exactly. We found quite a few things in the office there, namely deeds and debts that belong to people in this very small town. This town is only about 900 people. It does have a very active port, and you essentially have in your hands control of what happens to the everyday person. From the records that you analyzed, it was pretty clear that the bailiff was imposing a ton of taxes and fees and levies on the people, and from it, they were suffering terribly. As that was happening, Cole had taken one of the corpses of the bailiff. Was it the bailiff himself? I can't remember.
I thought it was the bailiff.
I believe it was the bailiff. You took the bailiff off to the side and asked several questions. Fortunately, you didn't really get much information other than the bailiff was tied with some group called the Scarlet Brotherhood, and he was essentially handling communications through a middleman by the name of Merrick. Other than that, he seemed to not be privy to any of the further details. While that was happening, Arilyn, you went to join Captain Christie at the Fog and Frog, where you came to discover that Captain Christie knows your parents and is about to tell you a very interesting story that you have never heard from either one of your parents. We open up at the docks. The wind is starting to pick up. You find that the sky is starting to grow quite heavy and dark. Clouds are pouring in, and you can tell that it's probably only a matter of minutes, within an hour perhaps, that a storm is going to roll in. The four of you are set by the docks, and you can see in the distance another ship beginning to approach. It's going to be probably an hour, 2 hours before it makes landfall. But it's very familiar to you. It's the Sea Lily. You remember taking the rowboat out onto the docks here with the intention of keeping the Sea Lily out in the sea for discretion, so it wouldn't be tied back to you. You had essentially told everyone here that you're mercenaries, not really tied to any particular faction. The Sea Lily seems to be approaching.
That's not good. Something's going on. Try to see if there's somebody. If we can see if there's something going on the deck. Maybe it's too far.
It is way too far. It doesn't seem like it's on fire or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it's had any damage. It's little more than a speck. You recognize the colors. You recognize the shape.
They're not naked again. They're not naked already, right? Not coming into port naked. We're good.
We roll a d20.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Probably quite fitting. Something's definitely going on.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
did you say it looks like a storm is coming in?
Yes.
Well, maybe the storm has something to do with it. Maybe they want to make land before the storm hits.
I don't know if that's protocol.
I thought we said to wait out there. They should be fine through a storm.
We gotta tell the captain, and
Yeah.
and some of us should stay here and be ready. Could be a
I'll-
problem.
I'll run and get the captain. I think you guys should maybe start getting the boat ready to head out in case we need to.
When you tell the captain, you tell her a little bit about what we found here about Merrick, but be really careful. Don't
Will
let
do.
anybody else hear.
Okay.
So Garen takes off at a run.
All right. As Garen takes off at a run, thank you so much, GodfatherWraith, for the cards to everyone at the table. Let's see what happens. Start with Finn. Tell me when to stop.
Oh, this game. I remember this game. Oh, I think it goes whammies, no whammies, stop.
Okay. Pull.
Stop.
Okay. Garen.
And I think stop.
Okay. KayBee.
No, thank you.
Stop.
Oh my God, stop.
Okay. And Arilyn.
Stop.
Did you believe me that these are all good cards?
No.
No.
Okay, well, they're all good cards.
Nice.
That means don't do it again.
No, that means that whoever gives us cards next is all gonna be bad.
Right.
We got all the good cards out of the deck. It's over.
We cut to Pole, who's in an alleyway. Pole, you had just been talking to Izzy and essentially trying to catch up with Izzy. You have a moment of privacy here. Now going as Bruna, perhaps a false identity, you're not quite sure. That it is how they are being addressed by Captain Christie's crew. Izzy told you that she didn't actually get out. She looks like she's about to say something. As she does, you see Garen running past the alleyway that you are in. Isn't that your friend?
It is. I wonder if he's in trouble. Can we
go.
talk again later? All right.
I'll come with you.
I'll run after Garen.
Okay, Garen, as you're running towards the Fog and Frog, you see in close pursuit is both Pole and Bruna.
Garen will motion for them to keep up, and then knowing that they can't, he'll hightail it.
Okay, yeah, no, you can't keep up with Garen.
No.
No. All right. As the three of them run towards the tavern, meanwhile, in the tavern, Captain Christie has begun to lean in close to you. Being a hero is all about choices, Arilyn. Before I became a captain and a sea prince, I used to be a monster hunter. A little less than 30 years ago, I met a young woman, and I suppose her lover at the time. Two adventurers who were keen for some work, and I hired them on a mercenarial crew near Westkeep. We found a few jobs, whatever. Then we caught wind that there was something terrorizing the eastern shore of Jetsam Island. Merchant ships were disappearing and shipments were lost among popular smuggling routes. We took up a ship and set sail to investigate, expecting pirates. We found something else entirely. She's so close that you can almost smell the mead on her breath. She has a salty brine kind of scent to her, like sea salt. I'd like to argue that the ocean is a living, breathing thing. It possesses a sort of breath you can feel, you can taste, and it's something you grow accustomed to once you've spent a considerable amount of time out on the sea. Sometimes, when a storm is on the way, there's a shift in that breath, a palpable weight, forewarning. You can feel it on your skin. Have you felt that, Arilyn? Well, something like that happened that day. Except there was no breath at all. It was quiet, dead, empty. No fish, no birds, no wind, no current, just still water, as if it were waiting. I told my crew to turn around and leave. Something wasn't right. Your mother, Olin, encouraged us to continue. Malgus was always one to support her, and together, their fucking insufferable charisma inflamed the crew to hold. I couldn't do anything about it, so we did. Aboleths are ancient things, Arilyn, and I hope you never meet one. They possess a sort of power that can overwhelm the mind, and my crew heard its call once it began to climb out of the depths of the ocean to the edges of Jetsam Island. It's here that she smashes her mug against the table. You see some of the contents splurt out. She's white-knuckling it. Her eyes are wide. There's almost fear in them. Something broken. Something sad as she's telling you this story. We lost 2 years. 2 years. We didn't know what happened. We didn't know what we did, where some of our crew went. It was like blinking. Except the rest of the world continued on without us, and what happened to wake us up? Because it happened to eat something foul and it became sick. We killed it. Your mother and I. So it couldn't take any more time away from us again. We went our separate ways, desperate to find something we lost, everything that we lost, and everything that changed. I've been looking for your mother, Arilyn, because while I understand that she didn't know any better, she still owes me 2 years. Now, I'm not an entirely unreasonable person. I suppose I learned more about myself after the aboleth. One thing I value above everything else is agency. Power to control your own destiny. So here's my proposal. How about you join my crew for 2 years? Don't worry, you'll get paid and have shore leave just like anyone else I take on. Or... And as she's about to continue, the door bursts open. And it's Garen.
Arilyn. Sea lilies coming in. Even with a storm coming, there's no reason for them to be coming in. Something's got to be wrong.
I look back towards, what's her name again? Sorry.
Captain Christie.
I look back towards Captain Christie. Pardon me a few moments. I'll return.
You see a few moments after Cole kind of stumbles in. I imagine you're very breathless at this moment, as well as Bruna. Captain Christie up nods over towards Bruna, and she settles back into her chair, leaning away from you. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
That's good to know. All right. Arilyn stands up. Let's go see. And heads outside.
Okay. As the group of you begin to head back outside, you see that Bruna joins the side of the captain and lowers down to speak something into her ear, but you're unable to catch it. Arilyn, as you step outside, you see that it's getting quite dark. A storm is starting to grow very, very quickly.
Right. So you've just seen the ship is coming in?
Yes. They're too far away for us to make out details, but this feels off.
All right. I'll go check and see.
And Garen goes along at the pace Arilyn sets, but conveys the information that they got as quietly and discreetly as possible.
Okay. Cole, you can see that Arilyn and Garen are heading back towards the docks, and Izzy hasn't looked back at you ever since she entered in and started speaking to the captain. And their conversation is starting to kind of come to a close. She still doesn't look at you. Oh, you're muted.
Captain, you want me to come along?
I was planning on just swimming out, meeting the ship as it's coming in, make sure there's nothing extreme as it heads into port.
Alright,
You all-
I'll stay here then.
Could do me a favor.
Yeah?
In the... What was the title of the guy we killed?
Bailiff.
Bailiff? Thank you. in the bailiff's office, did you happen to find a deed for that fort we cleared out?
So above table, yes, they did, but Pole didn't go in, so Pole
Pole
wouldn't
wasn't
know.
there.
Yeah.
But Garen, did KayBee tell Garen?
I think what I had said is tell Arilyn what we've learned here. Most notably, Merrick. Right.
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 So, yeah, I think Garen. Yeah, I think KayBee mentioned a deed to a fort as well as a few others.
All
I
right.
think we were in the building together with several of
Yeah.
us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
So I
the
think
three
as,
of you.
as we were going through all
Yeah.
the stuff, we're like,
Yeah, you went
Routed
through
out.
for intel. Finn and I went through for loot.
Good to know. Just wanted to make sure we get that. Captain Christie made an interesting suggestion, but we can talk about that later.
Mood didn't feel very much like a suggestion, but
This was.
okay.
There were other things being talked about that
I see.
were a tad more serious, but one thing at a time.
Indeed. I guess that's what I get for coming in at the tail end of a conversation and making assumptions, eh?
It's all right. Arlen's gonna jump in the water and start swimming towards the ship.
Okay. Before you do, thank you so much for the card to Izzy. Let's see what happens.
Uh-oh.
Which is great, because I have plans for Izzy. Woo! Thank you.
Another good one.
It's never good when the DM says, I have plans for insert NPC that somebody has a connection to.
This is gonna be great. Thank you so much, Mathis. Okay. So you begin to swim out. It is going to take quite a while. You are a proficient swimmer. You don't have to roll or anything like that. But the others that are standing at the shore, what do you want to do? Well, you said you're staying at the tavern? Yeah? Okay. So that would mean that KayBee, Garen, and Finn, you are currently at the docks and you watched Arilyn go into the water. What do you want to do now?
did she come by me? Did she come by us?
She would have had to, yeah.
Knowing what the captain is doing, always, right? It's pretty predictable. I've got a spell ready for Arilyn
Okay.
as they approach, and as they run up, excuse me, I cast Longstrider to make her faster for 1 hour.
Ooh. What does the spell look like?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's raining yet, but normally when this spell is cast, it causes a person's legs to blur, and it's like dust comes up around their feet for a moment as the magic augments their speed.
I like to imagine that once Arilyn hits the water, this starts to look like a sort of mist. There are these like little tiny minuscule bubbles that begin to form around you in a sort of underwater obscuration. As Arilyn begins to swim out. Arilyn, as you're swimming out towards the sea lily, you can tell that there's something wrong with the water. It's heavier. Has a sort of earthy taste to it as it's passing through your lungs. That music's way too nice.
Oh, no.
And it begins to rain. Do you just want to swim straight forward? Do you want to look around? What's on Arilyn's mind?
Arlen's gonna keep an eye out while still swimming forward, even though player knows this is a bad idea now.
Okay, go ahead and roll me perception.
That is a 21.
Awesome. Okay. As you're swimming, you can tell that the way that the water is churning around you, that silt from closer towards the ocean floor has essentially been kicked up. Something from very, 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 very deep in the water has essentially come up and begun to displace sand and debris into the water that you're actively swimming through. You can still see through it quite well. It's not like you're swimming through a cloud of miasma,
Yeah.
but you can definitely tell there's traces of it.
Yeah. I do have my special eyes as a reminder in case that helps me at all see something in the depths of the water.
It doesn't seem to, whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be close enough for you to notice it.
Okay.
But with a 21 perception and that information, it's probably pretty safe to assume whatever it is, it was very big.
Okay. Got it. Arilyn's gonna keep rushing forward.
Okay. As you eventually make way towards the sea lily, you can see that it is actively sailing towards the port, and the configuration of the sails are trying to take all advantage that it can of the wind that's kicking up and essentially trying to make a beeline for the port. Let's see if they see you. They don't seem to see you. There's no indication of anyone waving at you, no lights being shined, no shouting, and the wind howling makes it very difficult to hear.
I'm gonna cast Thunderstep
Ooh,
and
okay.
basically just like spring out of the ocean and land on top of the ship with like a crack of thunder.
That is super cool. What color is the thunder and the lightning?
Gold.
Gold. Okay. With a crack that shatters the sky, you reappear on the deck of the ship, and a few of your crew members stumble back in total fear, not expecting this whatsoever.
What's going on?
Tully is the first to come up to you.
Is he naked?
Yes, everyone's naked.
God damn it.
You can see some people have tried to like throw something on. So there are a few people that are wearing a shirt and no pants. There's someone who's just wearing like a towel or like a tarp around them. Tully is butt naked. And no, he's wearing boots. He doesn't normally wear shoes, but right now he wears boots and just boots. He says, "Captain, there was something strange in the water."
What was that?
It
Do
was-
you know?
No, none of us could tell. We... you should speak to the first mate.
Imloth.
You can see that she's up towards the helm, and upon realizing who you are, she quickly begins to make her way down. Captain, some strange creature was moving underneath the ship. Couldn't determine the size or depth of it. I understand that we disobeyed direct orders, but it seemed unwise to remain unmoving.
It's alright. We dealt with whatever resistance or danger there may be at the port, so it's okay that we're moving the ship in. However, it's not incredibly encouraging to hear there's some sort of large creature swimming about.
The ship has taken some damage, but we are actively working on it as we're sailing. Simona is doing their best. We've got everyone that we can spare below deck.
Alright. Is there anything I have that can help fix a ship? This is a question I'm talking to myself out loud. I don't think I do. Okay. All right, keep everyone on it. Stay at the helm. Steer us in. I'll keep an eye out.
Very good, Captain.
Do you have the spyglass?
Here you are. She passes one to you. Imloth is the only one that's dressed.
Okay.
Imloth doesn't participate in Naked Day.
Everyone, once we reach port, be sure to put on clothes before leaving.
You hear a few, aww. They say, aye, Captain, as a chorus, is the morale on the ship's pretty high. You have a very good crew.
I'm gonna head up to the crow's nest and keep an eye out.
Okay, go ahead and roll perception at advantage.
Okay. That is a 12.
The storm has significantly thickened. The rain is coming down so hard, it's almost in sheets. It's like a shower all around you. Even with the spyglass, it's difficult to see very far out from the ship.
Okay.
You are, however, able to pinpoint where Uskarn is and the general direction of it. So you are pretty confident that the ship is headed in the right direction.
Okay, cool. Then I'm hanging.
Okay. You can tell that Imloth is having a hard time navigating the ship, and it's not a skill issue. It's more of the ocean is just rocking. You can hear things breaking and creaking. The ship is trying its best to stay hold.
Mm-hmm.
Back on the shore, the storm has started to thicken, and the rain is coming down in droves. You think you saw lightning strike the ship, but it's hard to tell. You kind of lose the dark blip of it in the growing storm.
And this is gonna be a bad storm, I think.
I'm assuming our visibility is lessened greatly because of how hard it's raining, right?
Yeah, you can barely see. If not, you can't even see the ship anymore.
Okay, so Finn probably will go. When we went to the bailiffs, did it look like it had like awning isn't the right word, but like a the roof kind of being pulled out a little bit in front of the door, or was it like just like most houses where it's just like the roof and then the door, I guess?
There was a sort of porch, so there's
yeah.
a roofed area, if that's what you're seeking.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that maybe we should go to the porched area so that we're still nearby? Because we can't see anything. Maybe if we go under there, we can see a little bit better. Being out here in just the pouring rain itself is... I'm already blinded. I can't see anything. And if something were to come up to us anyway, I can't see. But I think I remember going back that way, and he's just pointing in a random direction because he can't see.
So what is the visibility? I mean, do we...
It's really bad. You, unless you have some kind of weather-altering spell here, or something.
I mean, literally, is it you can't see more than 100 feet, more than 500 feet?
We'll say like about 300 feet.
Okay.
Garen, use your clock.
That's day and night, not weather.
Oh, blummy, damn it. Okay, well, I tried. And
If I use that, it'd actually probably make it worse, because then we'd be in night during this.
that's true. We don't. Well, I can't already see as it is. And I think Finn is gonna try to like. Well, I'm gonna go over this way, and like he's gonna try and walk in the direction he kind of remembers where the bailiff is, because he knows he can't see anything.
Garen will grab Finn and make certain he doesn't walk off the dock and keep him.
Maybe light a light in there, stoke the fire or something, so I can see it from out on the water.
Good idea. I'll make certain Finn gets there safe.
So KayBee is extremely anxious, and he's rooted to the spot he's standing on the dock.
Yeah. If it weren't for Finn leaving, Garen would be there too.
Well, Finn's only leaving because he can't see anything. He doesn't feel like he'll be helpful. So
Yeah. Once you find the shelter, it's still really, it doesn't help.
yeah.
But
Finn finally, like, he tries to go for something. I don't know if there's anything where he can go maybe in the building really quick, grab something to wipe his eyes off. 'Cause I'm assuming it's just blinding at this point. It's like when you're caught in a drench,
Yeah.
and like you just can't see anything unless you have an umbrella or something. So he's gonna wipe his eyes, and then he's gonna look. So it's still just as blinding. You can't see anything. Can I still see KayBee at all, or is it like?
yeah, you can see
Easy then.
KayBee.
Okay. So I think Finn's just gonna stay there, and then if anything were to happen where it looks like KB is either running towards something or danger comes, he'll run right at it, but he'll just keep watch, I guess.
Okay.
See if you can get a fire lit in the bailiff's office, in a fireplace, naturally.
There's a fireplace.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you could not put it in a fireplace. I'd prefer you to put it in a fireplace.
Right. And then Garen would go join KB on the dock.
Okay. So, waiting for Arilyn, it's going to take about another 30 minutes. Hole, you are in the tavern, the Fog and Frog. You can see that Izzy has eventually settled down to sit at Christie's table, and more people are beginning to casually pour in. From the looks of it, they look like they're part of Christie's crew. A few of them do some handshakes, a few of them give up nods and speak quite casually. You can tell that they have some association. And this is probably the ship crew from the Misery here. What are you doing to pass the time? You essentially have an hour until you're caught up with everyone else.
Yeah, Pole's feeling all uncomfortable about all the stuff that's going on. He's not sure what to do, and so when he feels that way, he has some drinks. So that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna start pouring them back.
Okay. The proprietor has the special brew, the Planks brew, and is essentially going to encourage you to have that, what was his name again? Skeldruff Plank beer maker. So he is quite liberal in pouring his special recipe. He is loading you up.
Sounds good. Keep 'em coming, lad.
All
Throws
right.
a bunch of gold on the table.
As you do that, it draws the attention of some of the other shipmates, to the point that one sits to your left and another sits to your right. You see the individual to your left. He has a bit of a grizzled look to him. He has gray hair that's pulled back into a bun. You can see that there are deep scars across his cheek. Human. And he says, leaning forward, "Oh, you look mighty thirsty. Care for some company?"
Yeah, sure, mate. What's your name? I'm Pole.
"I'm Walsh."
Hey, Walsh.
He holds out his hand to shake yours.
Yeah, I'll shake.
And then the other person flanking you, he says, "My name's Jack."
Oi, Jack. Pour some for these fellers.
And they both nod "Hey, that's right. Keep them coming." And they essentially begin to drink, and they try to pull you into a drinking game.
Pole's down for a drinking game.
Okay. This drinking
But
game.
Penny Sprinkle's going to be very wary of this. And she's probably going to go up into one of the top corners of the ceiling of the bar and be watching with this kind of stern look on her face because she thinks these guys are up to no good. Paul is just like, whatever.
Well, I have a
I laugh at
question.
danger.
Does Penny know Izzy?
No, I met Penny after
Okay.
that, so yeah.
Yeah. Do you look back at Izzy? Because you essentially, if you're at the bar, you have your back towards Christie's table.
Izzy seems to want to pretend that she doesn't know me, so I'm just going to not look at her and drink my beer.
Okay. You drink your beer with very, very spirited company. for quite some time. You drink it with the knowledge that Izzy is behind you. You can almost feel like a weight of her eyes on the back of your head. She doesn't come up. Don't hear her voice. All you hear is Christy laughing as some of her crewmates are talking to her. Is there anything else that you want to do? Or does the hour pass by?
He'll make small talk with the crew about the ship. Do they have any special customs and stuff? I'll tell them about Naked Day. What do you guys have?
So, opening the small talk, go ahead and roll me a performance or persuasion, or you can just write straight charisma if you want.
So, persuasion.
22. Very nice. With this small talk, you find that they open up very easily, and you get the sense that there might not be any ulterior motive here other than they just want some drinks. And it's pretty clear you've got the money to throw around for it. So they begin shit-talking each other very quickly to the point where they are just roasting each other. And you get the sense that there is a pretty strong camaraderie between the two of them. And at one point, another crew member comes up and slings their arm around and tells you, "Oi, Jack's a cheat. Don't play with him, play with me." And essentially, it's a very playful vibe. They will tell you very quickly that they are very jealous of Naked Day. And the first one, Walsh, says, "Look, the captain runs quite a tight ship, but I've been on worse. We don't have Naked Day, we don't have a communal soup, so to speak, but she's a good captain. She takes care of us. We're not a family. No, we don't have any sort of illusion of that. But we're fed, and we're fed well."
We blokes seem like you're good mates. Me best mates and my bunk mate, Tully. He's a goblin.
Ah, a goblin.
He pretty much started Naked Day all by himself. He just started doing it. And everybody else was doing it too. After a while. Well, I mean, when the captain's not there, of course. I mean, the captain knows. It's not like the captain doesn't know about Naked Day, but we sort of have a rule. It's only when the captain's away that we can have Naked Day. Which is unfortunate sometimes. I often have to, I'm kind of senior crew, if you know what I mean, and I go off with the captain. I often miss the Naked Day. But, you know.
So, yeah, our senior crew, that over there is Rigby, who's the boatswain. That over there is Sharkbait, our quartermaster. That...
Oh, here, take a look.
Yeah, they're like openly, visibly pointing at these people. Some of them are like, yeah, they like wave back or they just ignore them. And that right there is our first mate, Runa. Pointing right at Izzy. Izzy makes eye contact with you.
Paul will smile nervously.
Runa?
Yeah.
Runa's face is stone cold. She just kind of looks away and drinks quietly. Yeah, we ain't senior crew, but we get the job done. We get paid. You know, mate, do you think we can get away with doing a Naked Day without letting them know? They begin to hatch starting of a plan of trying to subtly, secretly have Naked Day.
I mean, you can't know until you try, right?
I'm gonna carry that 22 over, and they're all convinced they need this on their ship.
It's very freeing and relaxing.
Ah, ooh.
Spreading the good word.
Okay.
It's the naked truth.
With that, the hour will pass by very quickly. They get pulled into conversation. They ask you for, like, tips and suggestions and basically, like, deep lore and who's Tully and what does he do and etc. As that's happening, those of you at the dock, you can see that the sea lilies beginning to pull in. Arilyn, you see the crew around you moving to prepare to dock. They are essentially bringing the masts down, tying them as much as they can. People are struggling with the ropes as the wind is pushing against the boat and it's rocking. They're trying to go in as slowly as they can, so not to worsen the damage.
Got it. Arlen is not good at strength stuff, but will assist how she can.
Yeah. You find that most of the crew is quite coordinated, so you easily slide in and help them, and they essentially will direct you if you need directing. But those of you out on the dock, you see the sea lily essentially park or anchor or whatever. I'm not a boat person. Safely. They pull out the long board so you can go up and down the ramp onto the ship.
All right, everyone, go put on clothes.
You see everyone on the ship beginning to go below deck.
And Garen would scale up, check on Barnacus and Ella, make certain they're okay.
Barnacus is essentially just turned into a sphere of trembling fur and feathers, absolutely terrified, and Ella is fine.
Okay. Asleep or reading? It's toss up with her on which it'll be.
Oh no, she's helping bucketing water out from the bilge.
I think Garen would join in.
Okay. She's essentially busy with repairing the ship, especially now that the ship's in a safe place. They can expedite the repairs at the moment. Okay. Arilyn, you see KayBee and Finn.
Apparently, there's some sort of sea creature out, so they decided to move into port. The ship took a little bit of damage, but they're working on it.
Ellie, a creature.
Not sure what it was.
It
Sorry.
could be anything.
Guessing that it's below decks, I'm going to go investigate the damage.
Okay, go ahead and roll me investigation.
Yeah, so I make my way below decks, trying to find out where this damage occurred, and try to get eyes on what kind of, was it teeth marks? Was it that kind of thing? 19.
Okay, with a 19, you're kind of able to piece together, and also if you speak to Simona, which I assume you do.
Yeah, if she's down there repairing, then absolutely.
Yeah, she will tell you that she has no idea what did this to the ship, but essentially, whatever it was massive, larger than buildings, and that the ship must have grazed whatever it is. So just grazing it did this damage. And you can see that essentially it's almost as if the ship went over like a giant speed bump in the middle of the water. So it's the damage is towards the bottom of the ship.
So being a carpenter and a wood guy working all kinds of using all the tools and working with wood and being skilled at carpentry, I do whatever I can to help.
Okay.
That is to fix boards or chink boards and seal leaks.
Okay. Can I get a carpentry tools from you?
Yes, thank you. 19.
Okay. You set about helping. Essentially, Garen and KayBee helping, you get the sense that this is probably going to take like 2 or 3, maybe 4 hours of work, especially with the whole crew. You see that the crew gets dressed and then gets to work. Tully included. Tully is bucketing as best as he can. Finn, what do you want to do?
I guess Finn would also try to go in and like assess some of the damage. Once he kind of sees the whole crew is kind of bucketing things out. He'll kind of look. Does it look like the rain is not helping things?
Yeah, it's not like the worst thing, but
Okay, so like I'm just wondering if it's a case of like we're bucketing out, but the rain coming down is putting more water in, and it's just okay, not defeating the process. Okay.
no.
Okay. Then I think really quickly he does want to help bucket everything out. Really quickly, in the same vein, he wants to go check on Bims, make sure he's okay.
Okay, yeah,
As
you
far as
find
Barnacus.
Bims is very similar to Barnacus, where just curled up in a ball, scared to death, but otherwise healthy.
Okay. Finn's gonna go in, and he is going to, because he can. When I speak Draconic, just as a reminder, when I speak, he can understand when I'm talking in
Yes.
Draconic, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna just try and say as comforting words as I can to him. Like, if he'll let me pet him. If not, it's fine. I'll just hover my hand over him and be like, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay. I'm here now. People are helping get the ship. I don't know what happened, and I'm so sorry that I wasn't there for you while you were scared. All this stuff."
Hmm.
I don't know if you want me to roll animal handling or not with any of that, but
Yeah, go ahead and roll animal handling.
I'm proficient in that. That's why I asked.
Nice.
Yes.
24. Okay, yeah, you get the sense that you are comforting Bims, but Bims is just so scared. It's just like the thing with cats. When a cat's really scared, the eyes get all big and baby, and they make themselves as small as possible. And you are comforting, but it's hard to actually get through to them because there's a set of panic.
Do I get the sense that they know that, like, do I get a sense that they're understanding me and they feel a little bit more safe, even if it's gonna take a minute? Okay, as long as
You're
as long as I
helping.
know, as long as I know I'm helping, and I'll be like, all right, take as long as you need to, calm down. I'm gonna be right at I'll just point to below. On bottom of the ship. I'll be back as soon as I can. We gotta get this water out of here.
Mhm.
And then he'll run after that. They just want to make sure Bims is okay, and then he'll essentially either kind of help if there's a giant group in one spot, kind of help, or if there's one spot that needs a little extra help or one extra person, he'll start bucketing that. We'll just trying to get all the water out as soon as we can, so we can get this thing repaired.
Okay. With the collective group assisting, it's gonna take about 3 hours of work. Okay.
We're part of the crew. It's what you do.
Okay. Arilyn,
Indeed.
Imloth reports to you that it's about 3 hours of work, and that the senior crew are getting involved, and everyone is all hands on deck. Everyone's dressed. No one's disembarked the ship because they're gonna try to take care of the ship first.
All right, good. Keep everyone on it. I unfortunately need to finish a meeting with a Captain Christie. I'll be back when I can.
Aye, Captain, please be safe.
I will. You as well.
Okay. So by the time you get back to the Fog and Frog, it's been about an hour. Pole has been drinking nonstop. Okay. Great. You find that one of the other crewmates has essentially pulled out an instrument and is starting to play some music. Pole is over by the bar and flanked by pirates, and they're playing some kind of drinking game, and they're talking shit back and forth. Pole has several empty mugs in front of him. In the corner, Captain Christie hasn't moved, but you can see Bruna has sat down next to her.
Paul.
Hi, Captain. Stands up.
And
How are
there's
you
a collective oh as Pole leaves.
How are you feeling? She
I'm
says,
doing
kind of looking
fine.
between him and the drinks.
Doing rather well, Captain. Doing rather well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. She kind of narrows her eyes a little bit. The ship was attacked by some sea creature. was damaged and everybody's working to repair it, but you seem perhaps a little too incapacitated to help with that.
Well, I can pull on a rope, surely.
They're more, I believe, hammering things.
I could probably still hammer.
Are you like swooning a little bit?
Yeah. He looks hammered.
Perhaps just stay there, sit down, keep talking with everyone.
Aye, Captain. We're orders taken and received.
All right. Another drink for the tavern, and Arilyn will throw like 20 gold on the counter.
There's a riotous hey that breaks out across the tavern, and you can see more people begin to swarm around Pole. There are some appreciative up nods your way, Arilyn, and you can see both Captain Christie and Bruna are looking at you. Captain Christie has a wide grin on her face.
Arilyn will go to sit back down with Captain Christie.
Everything all right?
Everything's fine. Apparently there's some sort of sea monster in these waters. Do you know anything about that?
Ah, shit, it must have followed us. And you see Bruno just kind of like, and looks down into her drink and takes another sip. I think it's a kraken or something. Not quite sure.
A kraken? And you didn't take care of it yourself?
Some fights are not worth having. Thought we shook it.
Apparently not. Or it might be something else entirely. Perhaps an aboleth.
You see the smile fade from her face. Better not be.
Hopefully not. So, where was our conversation? You were saying that you expected me to serve you for 2 years in my mother's stead. Is that correct?
Expected is not the right word, but it would be the most convenient. I'll pay you, and you know what? So, the whole reason that I'm here is I'm essentially trying to set up one of my crews. I was hoping to station the misery here, but the bailiff gone. Don't really have anyone to manage crew.
Well, how about this? A little bit of a compromise. I'm not interested in serving with you for 2 years in my mother's stead, unfortunately. If you would like to still seek her out, you are welcome to search the bottoms of the ocean and find where her and my father are staying now. But, as you so delightfully mentioned, there was the deed to that old fort in the bailiff's office that we now have procured. I think I might take that over and establish some sort of way station, some outpost, if you will. I can keep an eye out for you from there. Perhaps we can call the tab paid at the time.
She looks very thoughtful. There is a power vacuum without the bailiff. You know, you have yourself a deal. She slams her mug down and pulls her hand out and reaches it out. How about this? You act as steward of Firewatch Island, of all of Uskarn, for a year. I'll come back, check in, and we'll consider it paid.
Sounds like a fair deal.
I only
Arilyn
request... She hesitates. My only request is if you see any of my people with my flag, they pass through unharassed.
I believe I can manage that.
Very good. And she holds her hand out.
Shake.
Okay. As you shake, you can hear the pirates over at the bar. Well, as Arilyn has sat down and it's really clear that they're talking back and forth about something, they're whispering. Oh, they're about to shake. What's going on? What do you think is happening? Essentially, they're gossiping around you.
Paul say, yeah, that's my captain. She's a really great one.
Oh.
She's probably making a deal with your captain. It's gonna maybe put us on a joint venture and like make us lots of treasure and swashbuckling adventure and stuff.
Oh. And you see that they seem quite pleased with this idea. And Arilyn, as you shake hands, there's a riotous clapping and just general merriment coming from the bar. Chrissy lets go of your hand and stands up and says, "Everyone, can I have your attention, please? I'd like to introduce to you Captain Arilyn Ruvullath. She's going to be in charge here. I leave in her capable hands the leadership of the misery." Pirates around you, Pole, are like, "She's our captain now." Oh.
What? You can't have my captain.
I'm still your captain as well. Don't worry, Paul.
Oh. I didn't know you could have. Okay.
You see, Jack says, "Captain Christie owns 50 ships. Yours says 2 now."
I thought that made you an admiral, but what do I know?
Stella doesn't know this. Is it Admiral? Well, she would have introduced.
Who was in the Navy? Military people. Help us out.
Is it
I
Admiral?
need a few more.
A few more.
Okay.
We'll get there
We'll get
eventually,
there.
Paul.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't it be commandant in these times?
Maybe.
We'll say Captain Plus. Super Captain. You see Chrissy brings up a mug and offers up a cheers.
Arilyn takes one as well.
Yeah.
All right. Chrissy says, "All right, you scallywags, we're gonna throw a party in here." You see the tender just kind of like helplessly shrug behind the bar. You get this sense that whenever the Sea Prince is in town, you just kind of have to do what they say. And essentially, Christy begins to direct people to do things, and Bruna takes over. "Come join us tonight. Throw a party. Announcing your new position, the passing of the ownership of this ship and the town."
Very well. Here at the tavern, or were you expecting somewhere more extravagant?
Fortunately, this is as good as it gets in New Scarn.
Very well. I'll see about bettering things here before next year. But until then, we'll celebrate tonight.
I like your spirit. She punches you in the shoulder.
I punch her back.
She grins. Everyone is cheersing and getting shit-faced drunk. She shoves another beer into your hand, Arilyn, and is essentially encouraging you to drink with her.
Arilyn will, but after that one, she's gonna sneak away back towards the ship.
Okay.
And we'll bring Poe with her.
Okay, yeah. The two of you get dragged away. All right. We'll say that probably took about an hour. With that, you head back out towards the docks, and it's raining. There's still about 2 hours of work left. You find KayBee, Garen, Finn, and all of the other crew members are actively still working. They're only about a third of the way through.
Okay. So when we get there, the ship is self-healing as well, right? So that's kind of helping out with everything.
But I think it takes time for it to heal the damage.
Yeah,
so we still
for
gotta
sure, for sure.
plug the holes.
Yeah, you get the sense that if this wasn't an enchanted ship, it probably would not have made it back to the shore.
Thank God it's an enchanted ship then. Arilyn will kind of go down and check the progress of everything and see how it all... Well, no. I think she'll go down and she'll call for the main kind of group to come to like a meeting briefly.
Okay. Mess hall is cleared for you, so it's the 5 of you alone.
I imagine Garen was probably the one throwing the water from the bilge over the side of the ship, so he's probably wet.
Yeah, if you spent any amount of time on the deck as well, you're drenched. Everyone's drenched. There's water everywhere.
Right. Half the people are in the bilge, so they're drenched. The other half are tossing it over the edge.
Yep. Okay. So the senior crew of the Sea Lily are assembled for you, Arilyn.
All right, everyone. Thank you for your hard work in repairing the ship while I was away meeting with Captain Christie. I'm here with a little bit of an announcement. So, as you all know, we are here to keep an eye on the betterment of this region and look out for the welfare of the people. And now that the bailiff is gone, there has been a power vacuum created in the region. So, from what I have understood, we have found the deed to Firewatch Island. That's what it's called, right, Stella?
Yes.
We found the deed to Firewatch Island, and with some conversations I've had with Captain Christie as well, I will be stepping into the role of overseer of this region, as well as taking on captainship of Captain Christie's vessel, whatever the fuck it was called.
Misery.
Misery. I'm not captaining over her as a on-board captain. I will be stationed here at Firewatch Island, kind of giving command from afar. And obviously this means that I will be stepping down from acting captainship of the Sea Lily while I tend to all these matters as well.
Okay. Is this permanent?
I'm to act here for at least a year,
Okay.
but who knows after that? If things are improving, then perhaps I stay. If I get bored, maybe I leave. Who's to say? Who knows what will happen in a year?
Are you going to be switching around any of the crew of the Misery with our crew?
No.
Phew.
Okay.
The Sea Lily will stay as she is.
Yeah.
However, one of you will need to take over the active captainship. I will still be available here if you ever need guidance or suggestions or assistance. But one of you does need to stand. I have opinions, but I would like to hear what you all think.
Oh,
Honestly, I hadn't thought about who would be a good second in command if you stepped down.
neither did I. To be honest, Arilyn, when we first met, I wasn't entirely sure what to make of yourself and this whole where you've come from and everything like that, but I've really enjoyed you as our captain. I've really liked you as our captain, and it's I don't know, it's weird to see you not be our captain, at least actively anymore for a while. And I appreciate all of the mentorship that you've given me over the months and maybe year or so it's been. I will say there's a part of me that wasn't sure if you knew who you were, what you were, but I think with you taking something like this, I think you do, and you are. I'm not one to nominate myself, but if no one else wants to and everyone's okay with it, I know you've helped me in the past, and if me being a temporary captain can help, I'd be more than willing to help. It's the least I could do for you. I mean, all of you, and he looks at everyone, all of you have saved my life in more than one other way. I was sort of someone who's on an adventure with myself, and I didn't know what would happen. And looks right back at Arilyn, like you're the first one to really truly believe in me since past events, and I don't know. I'm rambling, but either way, I'm happy for you, and I'm open to whatever everyone wants to do in the ship, and for however long we have you, hopefully we can adventure again, but I won't miss you.
I'll still be here, don't worry. There's no need for long goodbyes. It's just embarrassing when we see each other again in a few months, but I appreciate the kind words. You have grown a lot. I could easily see any of you stepping up to be captain. It just largely depends on what kind of vessel you all think the Sea Lily should be from here on out. I am the heroic sort of captain, a bit reckless at times, but we've always rushed headfirst into danger and figured it out as we went. I think with Garen and KayBee both, there'd be a much more measured approach, though there would still be quite a lot of heroism. For Finn, I could see Finn being a very strong leader that relies on the strength of those around him, heavily relying on the insights and input of others to find the correct path forward. And for my brain went to the Zoom call and I was like, no, that's not your name.
Oh.
And for Paul, with Paul as captain, I believe you would find much more about the beauty of the natural world and peace between creatures, which is very counter to how I've led things, but It'd be a very interesting new chapter. I have some pieces of parchment, and Arilyn kind of tears up the pieces of parchment. If you would like, you could take a vote. Blind.
Ooh.
See who you all think would be the best choice amongst you.
Okay, I love this. You can. So what we can do here is we can have everyone private message me in Zoom.
So real quick.
Oh man.
So KayBee, he puts his gloves down where he was. Of course, he's been working, doing whatever, chinking the wood for the leaks. Sets his gloves aside, and he sloughs off his shoulders the sea lily cape that he's wearing. He folds it neatly. He lays it across the chair. We're in the mess. Lays it across the back of the chair and kind of organizes it neatly. He organizes and he makes it so it's square and it's flush. And you get a sense that he's never going to touch that again. He pulls the dagger from his waist, and he slowly begins picking the threads from the sea lily patch on his tabard. And then he places that on the edge of the table and kind of smooths out the wrinkled patch. Arilyn, we've come a long way. You know, I gotta say, I'm really proud of all of us. We've done a lot of really good things. I'm really proud of you too. You know, they say, like, you know, fake it till you make it. You know, and I with the big eating grin, I think you made it, right? You earned something for you. And that's so good. I think we all kind of, it's been a journey. And I know this is just another turn of the sail, another turn on the road. And I know a lot of people on the ship, they're gonna have to make decisions too. It's not just us; it's everybody, right? I think this is good. This is natural. But I think in some ways maybe it's time for all of us to kind of think of something different. So I'm here for everybody. I'm here to help everybody. And everybody's going to be my friend. But yeah, I think there's problems elsewhere we need to look at too. I've been kind of thinking of going to Burl and going to the Dreadwood. I don't know. Kind of look around the room at some of the other. Look at Garen. Look at Finn. I think I've heard both of them talk about that.
Mm-hmm. I will remind the party that you do kind of have an outstanding promise to the survivors of Firewatch Island to go back to Saltmarsh and drop them off there.
I was gonna bring that up later. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. I'll be back to see you again. Don't worry.
Expect that.
Garen would probably take off his gloves so he can write without getting the paper wet, and then quickly writes on there in his normal blocky script and hands it over. And I'm not one for many words, you know. You've always been one to reach for whatever you can get your hands on. So I'm honestly not surprised about this. Good for you. And I will say I won't miss you, he says with a smirk as he slaps you on the shoulder.
Okay. Do people start writing on the page? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sobbing. That's okay. Paul is basically sobbing and trying not to get his voting thing wet, but he'll probably fail at that. He was the best captain ever. I don't know how we could have a different captain. I don't even know.
It's all a new chapter of the same story. So it's bound to happen with how much we were succeeding, all the things we were doing. We were just going to keep growing. This is a natural evolution of our growth. The same way all of you have grown as well. I believe you're all ready to step up in different ways.
I think Finn very much is just hesitant because at first he's kind of like, okay, maybe, but then Arilyn brings up good points about everybody. Like, he's like, yeah, that would actually be a really good that'd be a good attribute for a captain. That would be a good attribute for a captain. And he's like questioning in his mind what to do. And he's like thinking about it. And he just gives a big sigh, and you can see him write something down real quickly. And he will sort of slide it, fold it up, take a deep breath, slide it over. A little bit of calm with the fact that he knows it's anonymous. Or, once it gets mixed together, it'll be anonymous, but very much is like...
I love the trickle of the private messages coming in. It's so good. Okay. Okay, is Arilyn also going to write? Or just going to tally them up?
Arlen's just going to tally, but if there needs to be a tiebreaker or something, I can vote.
Okay. I'm still missing one. Private message me on Zoom, please. So there's this somber moment here as everyone starts scribbling down on the pieces of paper, and they begin to fold them up, pass them to you, Arilyn. God. Okay. I'm gonna message you, Emma.
Okay.
What people have said, but not who said what.
Okay.
Ooh, keeps it real anonymous.
So funny.
Someone said
Nice.
Tully, didn't they?
That would be funny. I never thought of doing that. It wasn't my big brain.
All right, there you go.
Everyone just wrote Arilyn.
So you get the 4 pieces of paper, and that's what they say.
Okay. Arlen just smiles. And I wish I knew who said one of these. Arlen smiles and kind of folds up the paper and puts it in her pocket. Takes off her hat. I think I'm gonna make a roll between 2 people to myself, actually.
This is so fun. Secret messages are so fun.
Yeah, they are. They're great.
Secret messages are the devil.
She takes off the captain's hat and rests it on top of KayBee's head.
No. I have to hold it up. See, it doesn't even fit my head.
You'll grow into it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I'm not sure. I think maybe it should stay with you. Maybe we'll be back.
It's like you said, KayBee. You just fake it until you make it. Now, there's going to be a party tonight celebrating all this. But before then, we need to make sure the ship isn't going to sink.
Indeed.
The ship is the most important right now.
Aye. Or else you all would be stuck here with me. And that won't do.
So the next 2 hours pass by with hard, tedious, sweaty, extremely damp work. By the end of it, Simone gives the hull a pat and says, "Captain is as good as it's gonna get. She'll
Alright.
hold. She'll
It'll
be
keep
all
getting
right."
better over time as well.
Aye.
Everyone gather on the deck of the ship.
As everyone begins to shuffle up onto the deck, rain slowly begins to let up.
Alright. Everyone, there have been a lot of changes happening today that you have not entirely been aware of. But they are changes for the better. And for the good of the future of you all. And the good of the future for everyone. When we arrived here earlier today, we took care of a bailiff who had been abusing his authority on the people of this region for quite some time. Additionally, we have recently come onto the ownership of Firewatch Island, and a sizable power vacuum has been created that needs to be filled for the good of the people here and for the good of the people everywhere. So, I will be staying behind and stepping in as overseer of this region and establishing a new outpost at Firewatch Island to ensure the safety and prosperity of the people who travel to and from this area. Now, I am still available as a resource for those of you here on the Sea Lily. Anytime you need guidance or assistance, you may simply write to me or message me or contact me however you will, and I will help however I can. But in the meantime, you have a new captain. Someone of uncompromising vision, with a clarity of direction that I think will guide you all to great new things.
Can I get perception checks from everyone as this, including Arilyn, as Arlen's addressing this?
A kraken starts attacking.
No, the storm is letting up. It's fine. Okay, 23 from Garen, 8 from Finn, 4 from KayBee, and a nat 20, 23, and a nat 20 from both Arilyn and Pol. Okay. As you're talking about clarity, uncompromising, both Pol and Arilyn see Tully beginning to puff up his chest. And you also see Imloth is struggling. She's struggling to maintain her composure. She's red in the face and she's white-knuckled, trying to just hold on to the front of her shirt. She looks like she's trying everything that she can to avoid crying.
So, I'm here to tell you, friends, that guiding you in your next steps forward is someone I trust the utmost. Please welcome your new captain, KayBee.
So when you look to KayBee, he's kind of, his eyes are glazed over. It's apparent this isn't what he was expecting. He's basically stunned silence since you put the hat on his head. And right now he just kind of looks down to his toes, but then everybody is just looking at him. He realizes everybody's looking at him. So he kind of rights himself and looks around. I guess we're up on the deck. So he climbs up on a barrel so everybody can see him. Acting captain. So I'll do my best while I'm acting captain. I know there's a right way to do this, and I'll do the best I can as the acting captain. So we're in this together. This is a great crew. Everybody's been really, really good, very helpful. And I look across, try to read all the faces. I'm probably still mind blown, not what he expected. In fact, from just a few minutes ago, down in the mess, from what KayBee had stated, he's like, nope. So, but now he accepts at least this task. We'll have a vote. The crew decides the captain. Each and every one of you will figure this out together. And we'll get home. Everybody's got a home. We'll get home. But know that you've got a friend here in Lady Arilyn of Firewatch Island.
Tully raises his hand.
Yes, Master Tully.
Are we keeping Naked Day?
We'll vote on that.
He looks terrified.
So now some people may get the sense that this is going to be a democracy. We'll let the crew vote.
Okay. For the sake of time, you find that the majority of the crew is extremely happy with the leadership, not only the wonderful example that Arilyn has set thus far, but also with the rest of you. They seem completely happy with it being one of you, and they lean in the direction of, if the previous captain says it's KayBee, then it's gotta be KayBee.
And I guess I also share with the crew, especially seeing Imloth, that we understand that some people may wish to stay with Arilyn. So
if you say that, hold on.
Yep. So
Imloth breaks. She bursts out, addressing Arilyn directly and no one else, almost as if no one else is on the deck with them. No, I can't leave you.
So you would stay with me here?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
Well then. KayBee, looks like you'll need a new first mate.
We'll figure all those things out. And I know that everybody, you're a little bit scared, you're away from home, but remember, you're with friends. And we're here with Captain Arilyn, Lady Arilyn. So my first act as acting captain, minimum watch, everybody hit the pub.
There's a riotous roar as everyone begins to say KayBee, 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 and make their way towards the pub.
Be nice to the other crew.
I think Arilyn claps KayBee on the back and says, "See, you're a natural already." And then Arilyn will walk over to Imloth and take her hand. This is probably for the best anyway. I'm shit at organizing.
I hate the way you store all the payroll information. You can see that she's just crying. She's not holding back. She squeezes your hand and she steps a little closer so that her shoulder touches yours. Are you gonna leave me?
I didn't want to make a decision for you. But as ever, I'm happy to have you by my side.
There's nowhere I'd rather be.
You can teach me how to store the payroll information.
All right.
Arilyn will wipe away a tear from her face and then give her a kiss.
As they kiss, you hear some of the crew going, "Oh!" And Tully's like, "I knew it! I knew it! I told you! I would see Imloth going into the captain's court." And then someone just kind of like puts their hand on Tully's face and pushes him towards the disembarkment ramp. So essentially, everyone begins to make their way over towards the tavern. And as they do, you are met with very drunk sailors that are very excited to essentially have an alliance, a partnership. And folks are trying to get to know Arilyn. They're also trying to get to know the rest of you. At one point, as drinks are liberally being shared around, Christy will lean back and say to Arilyn, "I heard that your first mate's gonna be staying back with you. Why don't you just take mine? Put Bruna on the sea lily." She says it's loud enough that like anyone can hear it.
Well, I do think that's a decision for the new captain. KayBee?
Aye, fellow captain.
Arilyn is going to try to subtly call over Pole as well. Without making a big deal of it, since they have a connection, but I don't want to like be like, "Oh, Paul, this interests you too." So hopefully Pole's like nearby and can hear the conversation.
Pole totally doesn't notice, but Penny Sprinkle pulls on his ear, points over towards you.
I love it.
What? Oh,
So,
and he'll go over.
and Arlen's like speaking a bit louder. KayBee, since you are in need of a new vice captain, first mate, that's the word. Captain Christie has very kindly offered Bruja to join the Sea Lily, if you would be so interested in taking her on.
And as you say this, do I see this person, Bruja?
Bruna.
Bruna. Whoops.
It's okay. We've all the characters have been drinking. Bruna.
I'm so sorry. Bruna.
And you see this this younger individual with dark reddish hair and looks to be about Pole's age, has not made eye contact with Pole at any point, at any time, and is looking at KayBee like kind of hard in the face. You get the sense that she is maintaining this sort of like cold exterior, and she's been sipping her drink. She has never chugged any of it. She's taking her time.
So out of character, this is the person that Pole was talking to previously.
Yep.
100%.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, you saw Pole go, "Izzy!" And then Bruno was like,
Okay, so is Bruna there?
Yeah, she's looking right at you. She's sitting next to Captain Christie.
Thank you, Captain Christie. Hello, Bruna. I'm KayBee. Kissing me, Bright Bloom. I'm from far north of here, but I'm here today. Where are you from?
Good to meet you, Captain KayBee. I'm from Westkeep.
Oh, okay. Great. I hear that you're a first mate. Been looking for a first mate for all of about like 5 minutes.
Well,
Somehow I think if Captain Christie trusted you as a first mate, then I would be well served and our crew would be well served if you might be so kind to consider joining our humble crew.
you can count on me.
Excellent, excellent. But there's a test.
So, I'm going to dig deep into the trivia. I tried to be smart, always looking at a book, trying to figure out things about how to do ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I delve into my shallow reservoir of knowledge and think of some hard technical questions, if I
Okay.
can remember correctly. I try to ask some questions that kind of make them at least feel put on the spot that they're going to prove their knowledge.
Okay.
So I think something like how to tack, how to sail against the wind.
Okay, Stella doesn't know, but it's pretty clear that Bruna knows what she's talking about. It's evident that there's a reason why Christie has chosen Bruna to be the first mate. And in fact, Bruna not only answers your question, but teaches you something.
Excellent, excellent. So I think that's only worthy, our own crew doesn't know Bruna from anybody. And there should be some qualification if you're going to be first mate, because presumably, that's an important position. They're in charge when the captain's not present. That's a very significant position of trust. So with the first question maybe being a little bit of a softball, kind of maybe a less challenging question, I lean in with subsequent questions, especially because she's like strutting her stuff and her knowledge. So I help her hopefully demonstrate her qualification. That way, if there's anybody on the crew who wonders, then maybe they'll wonder a little bit less.
Oh yeah. Whenever the group of you, more than one of you, talks to Captain Christie, you can see some of your own crew beginning to slowly kind of drift towards you to eavesdrop. It's a pretty small tavern to begin with, so there isn't a lot of space. It's really loud. And yeah, she provides more than adequate answers to you. But the way she does it is she's not overly flaunting it. She is essentially just textbook, very rigid, very terse with what she's saying. And you kind of get the sense that she's a little irritated by these trivial questions.
Oh, excellent. That's good. So I look her up and down. Is she tidy? Or is she
Yes.
messy? She's tidy.
As tidy as a pirate can be, there is definitely a
see.
level of grime on every one of them.
Okay.
And then you throw her
We're-
the real hardball question. What's the elemental spirit that lives in a ship and constantly repairs its favorite snack? And then she's
Yeah.
like, what?
She's like,
But,
drink more.
I also want to point out that we're all probably pretty grimy from repairing the ship. So
Oh yeah, everyone's
Probably true.
disgusting.
Well, congratulations, Bruna. I think you're a highly qualified first mate, and I'm fortunate to have you on my team. Thank you very much.
Shake her hands. Clasp her hand with two of my hands.
She has a very stiff handshake, and it's at this moment where you shake hands that her eyes meet Pole's for just a brief second.
Yay! Drinks for everybody.
Cheers! And there's general merriment that goes on. At another point in the night, perhaps an hour or two in, you can tell Christie's starting to get pretty fucking drunk. She leans over to Arilyn and says, I had Bruna come out and grab you some gifts to anoint your position.
Oh, thank you.
And she basically gestures Bruna to come back. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. Total Party Kiss. Hello, hello. So there are two very roughly bundled objects that get set onto the table in front of you. Essentially, Chrissy just like uses her arm and moves all of the drinks off the table. Some of them are not empty, but she clears the space in front of you. These drinks get set down. Sorry, these objects get set down. You open them.
Yeah.
Okay. The smaller first one, as you open it up, it appears to be a jewel-encrusted medallion pin bearing the sigil of Misery. Also, more accurately, Christie's symbol. It is a flat interpretation of a skull with an open mouth and a spike coming through a jaw. And it's essentially encrusted in what appears to be some smaller diamonds and some rubies.
Oh wow, this is very nice.
I know. Give this to all of my officers. You have drawn the gem card.
Ooh.
Ooh. So you immediately clock this pin to be probably worth 500 gold.
Got it. Okay, good to know.
Okay. You open the second bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Find an unusual device, something that, well, reminds you a little bit of home. Chrissy goes on to explain as you're pulling the paper off that, so what I like to do is I like to spend some time going from island to island, shore to shore, and essentially gather treasure. I'm a bit of a treasure hunter these days, and so you'll find most of my crew later tonight, tomorrow morning. They'll be essentially transferring some of my belongings off the ship. This is something I picked up, and I thought you might appreciate it. After all, being an overseer requires certain presence. And you pull out what appears to be it starts off as kind of like a wand shape, and then from one end there are 3 tentacles that come out.
Okay.
You have a tentacle rod from the key card.
Okay.
So
Not making the jokes, chat.
Yep.
It is a potent weapon.
She winks
Oh,
at
is
you.
it?
Oh, I bet.
Yes. You can add tentacle rod to your inventory.
Okay.
She says, have fun with that.
Thank you.
Then she goes, more
That was
drinks!
not holding back on the joke.
I was trying my best not to laugh.
I'm sorry, okay? Look, you've got cards. I've got to burn through some of
Yeah,
them, right?
yeah, makes sense.
Okay,
makes
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, more drinks go about. At one point, Tully loses his clothes again, to no one's surprise. And, people are passing out left and right. Captain Christie ends up actually getting quite cozy with one of your crewmates. Simona, your boatswain. The two of them end up stumbling upstairs towards the end of the night. You can hear them laughing, and they are linking arms. Party's beginning to slowly dwindle down.
I would have rotated some of the crew back to the ship to relieve those on duty.
Mm-hmm.
Ensured at least one responsible person was sent back to the boat.
You would actually find that Runa would have left at some point.
That would have been a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Would have offered and would say, I'll let you know if there's anything need knowing, Captain.
Hopefully someone warned her about the baby owl bear.
Oh, she hasn't gotten a debriefing.
So quick question. Did Ella go to the tavern with everybody or no?
Yes.
'Cause
Ella.
then, Garen's not there to give her the warning.
Well, you would have seen Bruna talking to KayBee and essentially salutes KayBee and then goes out the door heading towards the docks.
I think he's gonna go follow her.
Okay. She's pretty close to sober, so it's very clear to her that you are like kind of following after her. And once the tavern is out of eyeshot, she turns around to you. She has this bewildered look on her face. You see, she instantly softens. I don't know what to say.
Well, I didn't know any of this was going to happen. This is all just brand new to me. Are you okay with it?
I think so. I do want to go further into it, maybe another day, but Christy was good to me. As much as she could be, I guess.
I'm just wondering, well, yeah, maybe we should wait. I've been having a bit too much to drink tonight. But I'm just wondering if you're like, this will help you get out of whatever it is that you're in.
You can see that she's twiddling her fingers and kind of nervously bringing them together. Maybe. They've been good to you?
Yeah, my crew is great. My captain was great. The new captain is going to be great. If you're there, I think it'll be great.
Do you like them?
I think that would be to put it too mildly. I love them. They're my only family I've ever really had. You know how that is.
She looks down at her boots. Used to be family once.
Yeah. It's a long, long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have a sister and a mom and dad, but this feels like it can last, I think. I think everything was kind of day to day back then, you know? Maybe this can really work for you like it's worked for me.
We'll see. I've got to head back to the ship.
Yeah.
You want to come with me?
Sure, I'll come. You mean your ship? You mean the Misery?
No. Sea Lily?
The Sea Lily, yeah. Yeah, that's our ship.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great. You're gonna love it. I'll show you. And he starts getting excited and grabs
as
her hand and starts walking.
she slowly gets a smile on her face and she says, yeah, maybe you can show me around. Then we smash cut to you opening Garen's door, and Barnacus just like turns around, has Garen's like bed sheet half torn hanging out of his mouth, and like the lights are on, so it's just these two like golden saucers in the dark. This like half shadowed creature, and then
Oh, that's just Barnacus. Don't worry. I can't say he's armless. I mean, he arms a lot of things, but I don't think he's ever hurt anybody. He's a baby owlbear, you see? Garen. What would you call Garen? I guess Garen's just he's a marksman. Yeah. Garen's a marksman. And he's yeah, this is his pet owlbear. I don't know if Barnacus knows he's a pet, but anyhow.
yeah, and she kind of like reaches over and just slowly closes the door. But then she will go about essentially asking questions about the ship and trying to familiarize herself with the lay of the land. Yeah.
Sure. And this is Tully. He's me mate. He's me roommate. He's a great guy. He tends to keep things in a mess. I mean, normally this wouldn't be like this. This and then she'll start introducing.
She looks at the hole in the floor that KayBee basically like melded, iron welted the like fake door, the barrel lid onto it.
and this is Penny Sprinkle, and this is Buttons, and this here is Shern.
Shern, you lift up Shern the lobster. Yeah.
There's a lot of people to introduce you to. I'm probably overwhelming you.
Yeah,
let me show
I wish
you
I
around
had
the ship.
paper to take notes.
Oh, we got paper. I don't use it much. I think
If you're
it's
in your
over here.
room, I feel like if there's any paper in the room that you share with Tully has definitely drawn dicks on every single one of them. Yeah.
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 I'm thinking of going to what's her name again? Our accountant. She would have paper and it would all be like, good paper.
Yeah.
So, like I want to show that paper, not Tully's paper.
Thank you so much for the raid, everyone. Welcome on in. Thank you, thank
Nameless
you.
domain.
Nameless domain. Yay. Thank you. So, as that's going on, does anyone do anything other than continue to get shit-faced?
I think Finn would like to have a moment with KayBee at some point, but whenever's best.
Yeah, KayBee is definitely has his radar on. He's trying to learn a little bit about Arlen's new crew. Who are the key people there? Because he knows that Arilyn is also going into a new situation. You know, she has a lot that she's gonna have to deal with. So it's probably good to know who are the friends.
Okay.
And who needs watching.
Okay.
So yeah, so as soon as Finn is like eyeball towards KayBee scampers over.
Yeah, so throughout the night, KayBee, you would have gotten introduced to a couple of people on the Misery, and also you would have noticed that people from Uskarn, the rest of the village, have also filtered in and joined the party. You see Vortanum, the bookkeeper who also ran the soup kitchen, is there, basically brings some food, some self-catered stuff to essentially congratulate Arilyn and also your crew
So there could be an overt thing that's obvious, or maybe it's more subtle and requires a consideration, insightful consideration. But KayBee is really curious about the piratey vibes. So definitely, Christy definitely carries themselves as a pirate. But I guess just kind of curious about the crew. And then now the Uskarn people who apparently are enamored towards Christy and now Arilyn.
Well, clarification. They seem to respect Christy.
Okay.
But they do like you guys.
So yeah, I guess I'm just trying to see past the veneer if there's anything more than shady, something that might be dire.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Roll me an insight check.
I so wish I had a buff.
4.
Nope.
Do you have
So
any?
I'm riddled with suspicion.
You have any D20s?
No, I don't think we track those session to session. No.
Have a blessing.
Well, you have a blessing. You can re-roll if you want.
I have a blessing.
Nice.
Oh my God. I'm so blessed.
13. Okay. For the most part, you get the sense that the crew of the Misery, they don't have to live under filters. Just like their captain, Christy seems to be pretty upfront, bigger than life, loud, passionate. You see that the crew of the Misery is mingling very well with the crew of the Sea Lily. Some of them have like taken off their shirts and they're wrestling, they're laughing, they're singing. So the vibes are pretty good.
So when I come together with Finn, I get like real close in his face, almost forehead to forehead. Finn, are pirates good guys or bad guys?
Well, if Arilyn is going to join them, I would consider them the good guys. So I would think that Arilyn is... I think Arilyn has learned enough to... If there's a gut feeling of trust, there's a good chance it's trustworthy. So... say so.
Yeah. What did you want to ask me?
Well, it wasn't really much more I wanted to ask you, but... And then he'll call over to get another drink. And it'll be a fresh drink and handed over to you, KayBee. Be like, well, if there's any one person in this crew that truly does deserve to be the new captain, it is you. I mean, you were right behind Arilyn the whole way, you know? Oh, Captain, I'll do this for you, and helping, and, you know, kind of like coming up with really fun and cool ideas, and almost like a learning tree, almost going under Arilyn, trying to learn everything that she's done. And as we talked about, everyone kind of growing leaps and bounds. KayBee, I really believe out of all of us, you've really grown a lot of leaps and bounds. And I want to toast you. You're my new captain, and I am just as excited for all the adventures we're going to get into as ever. I know you're going to guide us perfectly, and maybe you don't know all the answers yet. I don't think any captain really does. You got this. I believe in you. And I'm excited to see what the future brings for us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take a sip.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Finn. You know, it's I'm sure it's a very challenging job, and Arilyn did a good job. She really did. It's not easy, and that's why it's good to have people around who are willing to help. You know.
Of course.
I'll need your help.
Oh, of course. I think one of the strengths Arilyn had was us as a crew. She could rely on us. I want you to know from the very start that no matter what, you can rely on me. Never question it. If you need me to stand forward for you, I will do it. Like you did for Arilyn. I want to do that for you.
That's good. That's really good. It's no small task to be responsible for the lives of other people.
No. You know, I myself have always dreamed of sort of my own individual journey. But being with you all, I really love this crew that we've made. And I'm a little sad that we're kind of like, sort of lose Arilyn for a little while, but I think there's a little bit more, the more I think about it, there's a little bit more peace of, we know exactly where to find Arilyn if we ever need Arilyn.
Yeah, it's time for Arilyn to do something different.
They need to shine, yeah.
Arilyn's coming into their own.
Mm-hmm. Well, no matter, well, KayBee, I know you want to do a lot of more mingling with everyone and more responsibilities, but I just wanted to, you know, on top of everything else, just want to let you know that I'm here if you ever need anything.
He thumps his chest with his fist. You know that KayBee definitely feels what you're saying. In fact, he kind of comes over. Hug?
I'd be more than happy to.
Okay.
Gives you a big hug.
That's so cute.
Captain Hugs.
Inside, as this is happening, Garen, have you been drinking?
He's had a cup in front of him. He touches it to his lips, but doesn't take a drink at all.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
21.
I like that your other roll's a fucking 28, just casually all the time. With a 21, you would have noticed that one of the crewmates of the Misery has definitely been eyeballing you for most of the night, but they've been drinking, they've been kind of carousing with others, and at a certain point, they seem to be gathering their strength. And they come up towards your general area. Where are you seated? How are you standing?
Oh.
What's the vibe?
I'd say you might still be trying not to fail at small talk with Ella and failing at small talk with Ella.
Ooh, roll me persuasion or performance.
Oh boy. Both are the same, so.
7.
I could have rolled straight charisma, it had been the same.
So you get the sense that Ella's just not really good at talking either. She essentially, and she seems to enjoy the company. She isn't necessarily like shutting you down or like trying to stray away from the conversation. It's more that Ella doesn't seem to know what to say.
So basically 2 people failing at small talk with each other.
Yeah, she keeps trying to offer up little tidbits of her research, but it kind of goes over. No, roll me an Arcana check. Let's see if it means anything to you.
Garen is actually pretty smart as long as I don't get craptastic rolls.
I feel like Ella would use all of the technical scientific terms.
Damn it.
5. That's so fucking funny. Okay, she's basically like explaining like deep, complex algorithms and like magical equations and stuff like that, and talking about curses and like generational like aptitudes and like probabilities and stuff. She mixes math and science into it. And
Garen probably gets the math, but then when it's Garen's turn to speak, he's probably talking about, you know, the bow's trajectory of range and how you gotta angle it with the wind, and so it's just as awkward.
Yeah, she's like trying to retain this information, but she has no applicable like need for it, because so she's like just kind of struggling. So it's very awkward, but it's sweet, but awkward.
Yeah.
And as this is happening, you notice that the person, this man is visibly athletic and has the look of a soldier, just like you. Even though they're dressed as a pirate, you can just tell. They just have a
Yeah.
certain gait. They have a certain posture.
He
And-
marches everywhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he marches right up towards the bar where the two of you are sitting.
Garen. Actually, Garen wouldn't be unfriendly. Oh there. Greetings.
Hello. He just like takes a sip of his drink, but is doing the exact same thing where it's a non-sip
Mm-hmm.
and puts his drink down. Kind of looks out into nowhere. You get the sense that this person wants to talk to you.
Excuse me, Ella. I think this is meant to be private. Try
Oh,
to join me outside?
all right. I'll be here.
All right. I look forward to talking with you some more.
Hmm.
Those two
strings.
autistic children.
Yeah. So as you step outside with this individual, he turns towards you and he says, I've been watching you and your crew throughout the night. I suppose there are some things that you need to know.
Such as?
He doesn't look at you as he's talking, kind of folds his hands at the small of his back, and he says, We saw the fight, the bailiff by the dock. We saw a creature that came from the bracelet.
Yes.
We are no strangers to these people. He's speaking to you in a lowered voice. You get the sense that this is definitely something sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was very interesting. I've never seen the like. What do you know of it?
Sea princes have a deep history. They are, in a way, evolutionists. I don't know how much you know about the sea princes and their relationship with Kyoland. The sea princes are not happy with King Scotty. There is reason why they are in this place, why they defy King. I suppose by extension Saltmarsh. Have you fought these people before? Ones at the dock.
No. My service was on the other side of the country.
He crosses his arms over his chest and he's looking at you now. Pretty level. There's no accusation. There's no animosity. It's just straight conversation. Just talking facts. You were a part of the King's army.
I was a scout.
I wouldn't say that out loud around here if I were you. These people are not
Wise.
friendly with Kyoland and its king.
I've caught on to that.
The entity at the docks, they are part of a group called the Scarlet Brotherhood. We have had problems with them.
see. I've heard whispers of this brotherhood. None good.
We don't know much about them. They keep interfering with our business. There was reason why Captain Christie laughed it off. See, Captain Christie laughs in the face of danger. She feels that she is so experienced and influential that she's beyond meager danger. But people like you and I, we know that kind of confidence can get people killed.
Indeed. Rarely the person that's overconfident.
So keep an eye out, especially around here.
Thank you for the warning. May I have your name?
Stryker.
I'm Garen. Garen will shake his hand.
Shake his hand. We didn't have this conversation.
Agreed.
And with that, he just simply turns away from you and goes back inside.
Garen will wait a few moments, thinking about what he was just told, before he heads back in and sits down with Ella again.
Ella continues to talk in such strange and big and unusual words that you've never heard in your life, talking about different schools of magic and etc. The rest of the night passes on. Is there anything else that anyone would like to do before next day starts?
I just think Finn would go, eventually go back to the ship, see how Bims is doing, and then more or less just kind of calm down for the night.
Okay. Excellent. With morning, the dock is extremely busy. You can hear Christie's voice over the sound of people shouting and moving things as she's barking orders to the crew of the Misery. You can see loads of crates and barrels and treasure chests are being hauled off the Misery and are basically being dumped into the bailiff's office. You see that Bruna, though she is now first mate for the Sea Lily, she apologizes and says that she has one last thing she needs to do, and is essentially just ticking things off of a list as this inventory is being offloaded the Misery. And Arilyn,
Hey, Bruna, when we have a chance, we should talk to Lady Arilyn, see if there's any merchandise here that is available for trade. You'll have to teach me about all that stuff. We'll figure that out.
Yes, I apologize in...
Oh, it's private stuff? Okay.
Yeah, Captain
Okay.
Christie doesn't like to share.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Yeah.
Well, you and I will talk to Lady Arilyn. We'll
Yes,
see.
of course,
Yeah.
Captain. And she essentially, like, wanders off. Arilyn, would you join Captain Christie?
Unloading all this stuff, or
Just accompanying her.
yeah.
Okay. Captain would essentially tell you that you can expect something like this every couple of months. One of the ships that comes bearing her sigil, they'll essentially just dump a bunch of stuff, and it's meant to be private. It's part of her collection, and someone else will come pick it up. And she tells you that's the general reason why she's so invested in Uskarn. It's in a good location for her. to essentially just be like a pickup drop-off point.
I see. Very well. Are you sure they're keeping it in the bailiff's office, right?
Right now, you get the sense that they're just trying to put it somewhere.
It might be better to drop those off at Firewatch Island. It's a bit more defended, and I can watch over it a bit better than I can here in a shitty bailiff's office.
All right, this is all your purview now. All right, put it back on the ship. You see everyone essentially beginning to move things out of the bailiff's office back onto the Misery now. And she instructs Bruna that it will be taken to Firewatch Island. You know, last I heard, Firewatch Island is in a state. It might require some maintenance.
That's true. Aye.
Well, I'll have a ship be coming through in the next few days to pick me up, as well as my things. But the Misery is yours, and its remaining crew. You can use them to enact repairs, I suppose. I'm sure you can work something out with the locals here for supply.
All right. Very well. Thank you. I will manage them well.
All right. It's good to see you out here. I think this will work out well.
I agree.
Okay. And now I ask the question. Does the crew of the Sea Lily want to stay as repairs and improvements begin on Firewatch Island? The general workload is going to take several months. But essentially, you're free to do whatever you like.
So I think KayBee encourages the group to come together, and we include Arilyn in this discussion. KayBee offers Arilyn that we might, in the future, whenever it works, find an arrangement to where goods can perhaps be sold in Saltmarsh. We do appreciate that that is risky business, but it would be an opportunity for profit for all of us, potentially. So we'll have to partner with Arilyn on that. And this is maybe one moment where KayBee kind of perhaps assumes too much authority with the funds of the Sea Lily and offers a nice chunk of change to our departing captain to ensure that she has funds to enable her in what she's doing.
I have plenty of funds. Don't worry about that. I have a number of trinkets and baubles that I've tucked away for quite a while now that are worth a pretty gold or 100 or 200 or 500, so to speak. And on top of the gold I already have, you will please keep your gold and do what you will with it. As far as trade is concerned, I agree that I think it would be profitable and worthwhile once things have settled here and this region has grown a bit more stable. But we will have to be very careful about how we do it.
And I will pass on a word of warning I got last night that the people of this town, not just the Sea Princes, hold some animosity towards the king. So trading with Saltmarsh should be handled very delicately.
That's good to know. Thank you for that information. I'll have them singing my tune soon enough, and then we'll see how things go.
Garen, do you mention the Scarlet Brotherhood?
Yes, I think Aaron might pass on that intel now as well. The source also informed me that that creature we fought that came from... Honestly, I'm not sure where it came from.
The red
Because he was on the other side of the building when it was summoned.
Mm-hmm.
But that creature we fought is linked to the Scarlet Brotherhood.
And we know the Scarlet Brotherhood has influences in Saltmarsh. And there's somebody here called Merrick, who's the middleman for the money.
All right. Very helpful to know. I still have that. What was it, like a scarf or a bandana, or it was like a rope that summoned that
something.
creature?
Yeah, I thought it was like a bracelet.
It's a bracelet.
Yeah, bracelet.
Yeah, it was a bracelet.
It turned back into a bracelet, and you have it. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have that bracelet that turned into that creature, so I'll be careful of that and keeping an eye out for any that walk in here with a similar bracelet. Everyone that sided with the bailiff, at least publicly, is dealt with presently. And I'll root out anyone that privately conspires with that group as well.
Yes, I will warn. I think one guard did flee, but we did not get control of. There was one injured that I lost track of during the fighting.
That's all right.
Oh yeah, there's one that just kind of ran off for no reason, wasn't there?
Yes.
Hopefully they learn and tell whoever they're working with that this town shouldn't be trifled with lightly anymore.
Indeed.
And if they don't, and more people come, there are plenty of tricks I haven't shown off that they'll get introduced to.
I'm sure we can handle them as easily as we did their shitty bailiff.
I agree.
Lady Arilyn, before we go, one more thing we want to do is register our ship under a different name, under different colors here with you.
Very well.
Options. Always
What
gotta
would you
have
like to go
options.
with?
I will figure that out.
Well, just let me know before you leave.
Okay. It sounds like the crew wants to just tighten up a few loose ends and then head out to Saltmarsh. Is that correct? Okay.
That's good.
So with that, Arilyn begins to settle into her new role as overseer of Firewatch Island.
I think Finn will really quickly go into town, grab the 3 people that we were going to bring back with us to Saltmarsh, and make sure they know where our ship is, and then let them know when we're leaving and such like that.
Yeah, of course. So that will go by without any problem whatsoever. Arilyn, the next few months are interesting. You begin your work at repairing Firewatch Island, and you find that Christy, her crew, the Misery, they're all pretty tolerable for the most part. You find deep loyalty with those who associate under Christie's banner. You have drawn a relate card. Perspective and introspection. Arilyn, as you are now coming into your new role and finding confidence in it, can you tell me what Arilyn is thinking? Give us a glance beyond the veil. Especially if this brings up any memories of Arilyn's past.
I think we see Arilyn as a child, hearing bedtime stories from her mother and father of their adventures, going out, slaying monsters, helping people, doing whatever they needed to do, and earning some pretty coins in the meanwhile as they did so. We see Arilyn sneak out of her home with her mother's armor and holy symbol. We see Arilyn on the road, retelling those same stories that her parents once told her, but lying, saying that it was her own. We see moments of her inexperience and vulnerabilities as she fights from the back line. And then we see her meet a group that, rather than questioning her stories or seeing her inexperience, simply went along with it. We see her lead them. We see her jump in front of them. We see her time and time again, somehow stumbling into victory. Over and over and over again. And now we see her in a keep on an island in a region that is all her own.
As Arilyn looks out through the window of the keep to the wide ocean of possibility in front of her, it is dark, the moon is full, and it illuminates the water. Some nights, you swear you can feel the ocean breathing. This particular night, you see something in the water, and it's looking back up at you. Your final card is the Vizier card. You get to ask one question. You get the answer.
Well, damn. What am I supposed to ask?
Anything that you want.
She wants to know who in the town is still working with the Scarlet Brotherhood or whatever.
Looking out into the water, you're wondering the pieces of this mystery that you have stumbled into the edges of. Remember what Garen told you, the warning a few days before they left. You've been keeping an eye out. You've been trying to find who this Merrick person is. You found the documents that showed that the bailiff was paying him off. There's some relationship, some association there. Merrick seemed to vanish into thin air. No one knows where he went. No one can find him. And maybe for now, there isn't anyone associated with the Scarlet Brotherhood. But you get the feeling that that's going to change in time. And that is where we're going to end our session for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and especially thank you so much to Emma. We are going to miss you. This is Emma's last episode with us, and it has been an absolute pleasure to have you, and I'm so thankful that we had time to give a proper send-off to Arilyn. So as we close up this session here, I want to go around the table one more time. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and tell me what your favorite part about this episode was. And we'll start with Emma.
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. Don't look for me online, I guess, because I don't really use Twitter or any social media, but I am creating a TTRPG called All the Witches. You can find information about that at allthewitches _ on Twitter, or you can check the Kickstarter page for more up-to-date information on how things are going. My favorite part was the voting scene where we were trying to decide who would be the next captain. As we were talking, I had the idea of like everybody voting secretly, and I thought that was just really fun, and I enjoyed what people wrote on their votes. And the world will never know what was written.
Yeah, I'm never ever gonna tell anyone what they wrote. This is just gonna be between me and Emma forever.
I am curious, especially the one that made both of you die laughing.
Thank you so much. I'll hop on over to GeekDice.
Hey folks, I'm GeekDice. This is a special event today. Definitely a lot of fun. It's gonna be different without Emma. We miss you already, and come back as soon as you're ready. We'll see who's gonna be captain then.
Still you.
Admiral Arilyn.
I know, right? Awesome. So I'm glad we were able to give you a good send off. And for today, there were a few really nice pieces in today's session that I really liked. But I very much liked the closing scene, the end cap narrative that Emma provided us for this tremendous journey that Arilyn's been on. Definitely been epic. And it's been a great adventure for a couple of years that we've been doing this. So seeing Arilyn evolve, and truly she's been our leader, and that's been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Pop on over to GodfatherWraith.
Hey, I'm GodfatherWraith, V_ESG. I pretty much have no social media presence, so don't bother looking for me online. This is one of those game sessions where my favorite moment is dealing with me, the awkward failing at small talk with Ella. That was honestly fun to me.
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. Pop on over to John.
Hi, I'm John, also known as Andicarus on the internet, and I have a social media presence pretty much everywhere under that name. I was playing Pole tonight. My favorite moment was really, it was sort of twofold, but it was all about KayBee. That the captain's hat was too big for him. And he was clearly trying to wriggle out of the captaincy, but that hat was too big and he just couldn't get out from under it.
Excellent.
And he'll be a great captain. No worries whatsoever.
It'll be great. Be great. I was gonna have Tully do this thing where he like stands next to KayBee and tries to see who's taller, but I was like, we'll put that in the blooper reel. Thank you very much. And then we've got Zombie.
Hello, I am Jacob. I'm Zombie. I am Z. More names like to call me. I'm Lore Keeper and Captain Z of the Good Ship Clip. I probably do too many clips, but that's of your own discretion. Today I played Finn Carson, who is a ranger researcher who's just trying to figure out what all these big bad zombos are doing and what the hell is up with all of this stuff. And yeah, I gotta kind of echo everything. It has been maybe once since I've played D&D, like my brief stint I did in person in like 2016 up until when I met Stella in 2019, 2020 when I was able to get on stream. I think maybe once in between all of that time, I've done where we've done secrets. Where like we don't discuss it in the thing, and it's just like you type a thing or you write a thing to me and pass it over to me as the DM, and okay, I siphon through it. Like those moments never usually happen, and so it's like it was kind of fun to experience that again, you know. And obviously, I think that we all came to the right conclusion. KayBee being the new captain is great. In lieu of any of the stuff that I said, because I think that I did one or two cool moments, as speaking wise. But I think overall the big highlight is that, and then I'll echo again the end credit scene for Arilyn as well. It's been so fun playing here with you, Emma, and you're gonna be sorely missed. And I hope it won't be too long until we see you again.
Thank you very much. And with that, that will be this week's episode of Saltmarsh. Actually, I lied. We're playing again on Wednesday. Join us this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Secrets of Saltmarsh as we begin to move into the final chapter. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our Patreons that make everything possible. Bye-bye.